What's up, guys? It's Dan, it's gone, and today we'll be looking at 5 trades for Cubs two-time All-Star Willson Contreras. Willson Contreras is on pace for his 3rd All-Star appearance this year, currently posting an on-base percentage of .394 and slugging .506, which leads to an overall OPS plus of 152. This is mainly due to his high hard hit rate and selective hitting. Willson is not afraid of walking and will easily take his base if pitchers want to pitch around him, which they usually do more often than not. While his defense at catcher is suspect, especially considering pitch framing, it is by no means a liability, and he can play DH a lot as well, if a team such as the Guardians were trading for him who do have a defensive catcher. The last thing that we need to consider here when considering Willson's trade value is that he's on the last year of his contract and will be an unrestricted free agent going into the 2022 offseason. This means that any trades for him will have to be looked at as a rental, and only teams aspiring for a playoff or World Series push should even consider it. This is the first video of this type in 2022, so I'll go over the basic recap of how this works. There will be 5 teams that all have a chance of getting Willson Contreras, with the most likely trade in my opinion being at the number 1 slot and going down from there. But before we get onto the video, could you guys please hit the like and subscribe button? Currently, only 3% of people who watch my videos are subscribed, so if y'all do, not only would it help me grow my channel, but it also encourages me to create more videos like this one for you guys. And without further ado, let's get on to the video. First is the Cleveland Guardians, and this is only if they're in contention and if management feels like they can lose pieces for, by all means, a rental. Both of those 2 factors must be met in order for a trade between these 2 teams to even think about happening. The Guardians are on the list strictly due to how little offensive production they're getting out of their catchers, combined with the fact that they have the depth in their farm system to facilitate a trade rather easily. Their 2 catchers, Austin Hedges and Luke Maile, have an OPS plus of 48 and 87 respectively, so if that can be replaced with a 152 OPS plus, then that might even allow the Guardians to sneak past the White Sox in the AL Central. Obviously, the 2 catchers are there for their defense, but the difference in offensive capability would make it an upgrade regardless. In my trade, the Guardians send over Nolan Jones and Cody Morris to acquire Willson Contreras. This is a steep price as they have to give up prized former first-round pick Nolan Jones and pitcher who posted solid numbers in Cody Morris. However, neither of those 2 prospects are really in the upper echelons in terms of their farm system, and management might want to part while the 2 prospects seem to have their stocks rise after last year. Let's face it, one of the biggest disappointments this year has been Joey Bart's production in 2022. In 2021, Joey Bart hit over 300 in AAA, and when Buster Posey retired this offseason, we all expected Joey Bart to take his place as the next great Giants catcher. However, that has simply not been the case. Joey Bart has been below replacement level this year, as he's only hitting 156 and slugging 300. He does, however, draw a decent number of walks, so that is one silver lining. At the end of the day, though, Bart is still a young player with tons of controllable years left on his contract, and as a former first-round pick, he has tons of value. The Cubs could capitalize on this by making a simple 1-for-1 trade in Joey Bart for Willson Contreras. The Giants get some offensive production out of the catching position, and the Cubs get a controllable piece with high upside at the lowest possible rate. I think Bart does bounce back over the years and either becomes a leading piece in the Chicago Cubs' return to contention or a valuable trade asset as Willson Contreras solidifies San Francisco's World Series hopes. The Mets really just need 2 things to solidify their World Series run in a catcher that can provide some offense and bullpen help. The Cubs have one of the best catchers in the game that's on an expiring contract and also a pretty decent bullpen, so that makes it a sense for a trade to come down between these 2 teams. Furthermore, the Mets have their best opportunity to win a World Series in decades, so they might as well go all in. In my hypothetical trade, the Mets trade one of their prized young prospects in Alex Ramirez for both Willson Contreras and Keegan Thompson. Ramirez has some high upside, but at only 19, there's some risk that he doesn't pan out. However, he has all the makings of a star with already some of the best power in the lower levels of the minors. The Cubs, being in rebuilding mode, have time to develop Alex Ramirez and have no incentive to rush him. The Mets, meanwhile, get a catcher that bats in the middle of their lineup and makes a scary lineup even scarier. Keegan Thompson provides another valuable depth piece and another essential bridge piece in order to get there to their elite guys like Edwin Diaz and Seth Lugo. Despite the Padres acquiring Austin Nola and Jorge Alfaro recently, they still haven't really been able to get great production out of the catching position. In the ever-competitive NL West, every weakness is going to be magnified and might be the difference in between winning the NL West division or missing the playoffs entirely. Therefore, drastic measures must be taken, even if that means trading for a rental. The Padres, by all means, still have a very good farm system, with tons of depth, especially when it comes to the long-term pitching. Simply put, the Padres seem to have their rotation almost set for the next couple of years, so a guy like Adrian Morejon is expendable. Thus, he is the main piece in the trade for Willson Contreras, along with 17-year-old Samuel Zavala. Morejon has had chances in the big leagues, but has never really gotten consistent starts. And on the Cubs, he has a chance to really refine his game without moving in between the majors and the minors. Zavala is another one of those young players who may pan out into something great, but overall the risk is high. The Padres, meanwhile, get a tantalizing lineup, especially when Tatis comes back, and they can easily make a run for the World Series. In the 2021 MLB trade deadline last year, the Tampa Bay Rays showed that they are not shy at buying at the deadline by dealing for Nelson Cruz in exchange for two great young pitching prospects. It makes sense that they might try to buy again considering their record and the competitiveness of the American League East. It makes sense that they go after a catcher too, with Francisco Mejia struggling mightily. Obviously, the Rays have one of the best farm systems in the league, both in terms of depth and upside. So, if they want Willson Contreras, they have all the assets necessary to facilitate a trade. They really don't even make a dent in their farm system, and the Cubs get two great young talents in Jonathan Aranda and Elvis Basabe in return for Willson Contreras and Keegan Thompson as well. Aranda is more of the utility player who can play at a high level right now and would probably make the major leagues if it weren't for the Rays' stacked everything, while Basabe is on the younger side and needs more time to develop. The Rays get a replacement for the ailing Mejia and become ever more dangerous despite having one of the best records in the American League. Thank you guys so much for watching and sticking to the very end. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below new video ideas. I'm gonna probably stick on the trade deadline over the next few weeks as it's kind of coming up. It's within like a month or so. I'm probably going to do a second mock draft like after the end of the college baseball season, and it would be interesting to see what changed over like the playoffs. Also, I appreciate you guys' feedback. I'm going to implement some new strategies while editing and just recording my videos, so stay tuned for that. See you guys in the next one. Bye.